What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall market. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. And deposit $25,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 75. The offer ends very soon in just 10 days. Anyways, now let's talk about the broader market. So what's going on so far? Just know when it comes to our economic data, we just got the bill auctions, the 3 and 6 month bill auctions came out. Everything was close to expectations, so nothing too crazy thus far. We also have Cash Kari giving a speech in a little bit over an hour from now. So when Cash Kari opens his mouth, it may cause more volatility for the markets. But besides that, there's not really a whole lot else that's going on. And once again, it's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when Cash Kari speaks. So it's a little bit over an hour from now. But it's not really like, a whole lot that's going on right now. The market has been dipping quite a bit so far. But we're going to be watching some key supports just to see how well we end up holding up. So starting off with SPY, what I said in the morning was that we're going to be looking for a pop upon open. We were talking about this imbalance to get filled around the 584 area. Then I said we might be dipping back down to watch support at the 20 EMA at 582. So far, we ended up dipping below 582, but the 4 hour has not closed yet. We're still in a 4 hour candlestick. So we're going to be watching to see if we close below 582 or not. And if we could reclaim 582, if we can't, there's going to be a bigger risk of us dipping even more. So just keep that in mind, guys. It's very important to note that. So from what I'm seeing, there's a possible head and shoulders on SPY, and 582 is now going to be our key resistance. We have to see if we can reclaim that. If it's not reclaimed, we're looking for 580 as our next target, and very close to the 578s. Somewhere in the 578s, depending on where our 50 EMA happens to be, that's going to be tested. And then if that fails us, we have this imbalance down here around this 575 area that's going to be coming next. So I'll be watching all these levels very closely. So this could attempt to get closer to 582, but then we'll see if we reject off it or not. So be careful, guys. There is some weakness building on SPY. And if we can't reclaim 582, look for some more potential downsides. It's going to be a very, very big test on SPY. So far, the bears have a slightly bigger edge, but we'll see if this lasts. For ES, we have this resistance near 5880, not to mention 5890. If we reclaim 5890, we will turn back up. Our support to watch was at 5868. If 5868 fails us at the 50 EMA, this is at risk of coming back down towards 5855. So it's going to be like a 10-point dip. We haven't really lost that support yet. So we're not officially like tanking below our 50 EMA. So we're watching to see if the support holds. If this fails us, there's going to be a bigger dip on ES. So just be careful, guys. ES is looking a little bit risky here. So we'll see if we hold support or not. For Nvda, we're holding up very well, but just know that historically, anytime we're above 140, we're at high risk of a tough resistance. So it could make things a little bit more difficult for Nvda. However, with the good news that came out about their potential, once again, revenue projections, we could still see Nvda try to hold up. As long as we're above 140, 142 is a strong possibility, or we could get very close to 142 again, but then I think it's just going to be range bound for the time being. So if we end up losing 140, we're looking for 138 as our target and then 136.7. Lose those when we turn back down. In my opinion, we may just shuffle between around the 140 zone for now, but just know resistance is going to be very tough on Nvidia. Historically, around 140 does reject, so just be careful with it. If you're trying to like buy it, I'd be very mindful at these levels and just know what the risks happen to be. For Bitcoin, we got this rejection so far, but we haven't really lost 66,933 officially. If we get a 4 hour close below this and we continue to fall, our next target is going to be around 66,000. If you hold 66,935, we could attempt to rebound for 67,500. But overall, there is that risk of some more downside. For other factors out there, we also have Tesla. Tesla's once again continuing to dip a little bit. We have this resistance to watch for around this 220 area. That's going to be our resistance. Our support right over here is around this 217 area. If 217 fails on Tesla, we're looking for basically these lows to be retested, the low of the day. So we'll see how well it does. There are buyers trying to defend Tesla at 217, but overall, there is weakness on the chart because when you zoom out and you look at it like this, it's been on a downtrend ever since towards the end of September. It's been downtrending. Just keep that in mind. Tesla's still showing some weakness. The real catalyst is going to be its earnings in just about 2 days. But for now, we're just going to be looking at a lot of range-bound price action between 215 and 220. There's still that risk of downside on Tesla, though. Don't forget about that. For NQ, we look a little bit weaker. We'll have to see if 20,391 gets reclaimed. If not, the risk I was talking about remains, right? This kind of looks like a head and shoulders. Also, we had a high here, came down at a lower high, came down at a lower high. So there is a risk of us coming closer to about 20,200 if we can't get back above 20,391. So watch to see if we reclaim that. If not, 20,200 is a stronger possibility. For the QQQ, I want to say that it's the same thing. Essentially, we had a high here, came down, made a lower high, came down, made a lower high. So it's making lower highs, which is not the best of signs. However, we haven't lost our key support yet. So we have 492.86 as our resistance. It's also going to be support if we try to hold above that. If that fails us, there is a risk of 490.5, which is a stronger possibility. But we haven't lost critical support yet on the QQQ to turn more bearish. Overall, it's still in our range. It's still holding up decently. So we have to give this some time. What's helping this hold up is Nvda. As Nvda is pumping, it's still holding this thing up. So we'll have to give this some more time. For Apple had a high here, came down, made a lower high, came down, could be making a lower high. But just watch this resistance near 236. If we can't reclaim 236, we're looking for 235 as our support. So it's a nice range. If 235 fails us, we're looking for 233, then 231 is our potential target where the gap is. Overall, we're making lower highs, so just be careful on Apple. It is still holding up well, of course, but just be careful with this resistance. If we are making a lower high, there is a risk of rejection. So just be very mindful of that, guys. It's very important. For the IWM Russell 2000, I was saying there's going to be a dip coming to watch 224. If that failed us, we're looking for a bigger dip. Lo and behold, we failed 224, and now 222 is where we're looking at the 50 EMA. If we hold 222, 224 could technically be retested. If it fails us, we're looking for a dip back down towards 220. My gut is telling me this could rebound a bit, but then continue lower, and there's still that risk of downside on the IWM. For Coinbase, we pumped very nicely to 225, just under my target, only to be dipping back down. We're looking for 205 as our potential target if 210 fails us, so just be careful. Amazon has been dipping a bit. We're seeing some buyers trying to defend it near the 20 EMA, but watch 187 as a key zone. If 187 ends up failing us, we're looking for 185. If this holds, we could be looking for 190, but this does have a risk of downside, in my personal opinion. For Meta, there's also a risk of downside. We're making lower highs right now. We reached our 570 target. If that fails us, we could be dipping all the way down towards 566. So just be very mindful of that. Microsoft is also making lower highs right here. If we don't reclaim 418, there's a risk of us coming down to 414, then eventually down to like the 410 area. So far, Microsoft has some weakness. Google's also getting rejected, making lower highs. If we can't reclaim 165, there's a risk of us dipping back down towards 164. So just be mindful of that on Google, and then we'll have to see how things end up going. So that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. The market is once again making lower highs, so there's a risk of us getting some kind of rejection, but we can't officially say this until we see a 4-hour close, so we have to give the market a little bit more time. SPY is still kind of very close to this 20 EMA at 582, so we'll see if we officially lose this or if we get bought back up, so I'll give this the time it needs. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be back in another video in just a couple of hours. Until then, take care and peace out.